In 1969, when Apollo 11 landed on the moon, I was 14 years old. And like millions of people around the world, I was glued to the television screen, along with my dad, my mom, and my brothers. My sister was married in Florida by that time, or she would have been there too. But it's one of those moments where you never forget where you were, because what a time it was to be alive. Imagine watching man's first steps on a heavenly body away from Father Earth. Well, recently I came across a really cool book right here, published in 2008, that helped me recapture some of that excitement of the moon landing. And it was published to celebrate the 40th anniversary of the 1969 landing. And the book was brilliantly created by Richard Platt and David Hawcock, and it has some amazing, really amazing pop-ups in it. So I'm going to review the book, and I'm going to, in a minute, set this up on the floor so I can lay these out flat so you can see the full effect of the pop-up, and talk to you a little bit about it. I hope you'll enjoy this. And where were you if you were born yet in 1969 when man first landed on the moon? All right, let's get to looking at the pop-ups. Okay, I'll be referring to my notes on here, so I hope you'll forgive me for that. I want you to look closely as I open this, because I think it's the first pop-up is absolutely dramatic. So here we go. And in this first pop-up, we see a Redstone rocket as it lifts off the pad at Cape Canaveral or Cape Kennedy. Alan Shepard was aboard the Mercury capsule Freedom 7 as it blasted off and launched into space. The double-page pop-up also features a slide-out booklet, Space Dreamers and Inventors, with many illustrations and photos. But again, this just really, that initial pop-up just totally pulls you right in, Okay, and now let's go to number 2 here. Okay, number 2 is also very, very cool. Turning the page, we find this second stunning pop-up. With this one, we jump forward to 1965, when a Titan II rocket launched the Gemini 3 on its first manned mission. The capsule shown is of Gemini 4 with Ed White in the foreground. See him there? White actually left the capsule and floated it in space freely for a while. And at this point, we were well on our way to the late President John F. Kennedy's wishes when he said, "I believe that this nation should commit itself to achieving the goal before this decade is out of landing a man on the moon and returning him safely to Earth." Now, this page also features a long illustration of that amazing Saturn V rocket ship. So let's take a little bit closer look at this. Nice detail, really nicely done. I'm just so impressed by this book. Going on to the third one. Maybe? No, yes. Going on to the third one here. Now this one looks rather bland, doesn't it? We've got the command module and the service module for the trip to the moon, and if you open the flap, it shows the two separated, and if you open that flap, it shows inside the service module. And then over here, this shows the lunar adapter. You pull on it, and this is how the module would go in and out of the adapter. Now, the pop-up though happens when you pull this up, and you have a rather detailed image of the moon that has on it possible selected landing sites that could have been used when the Eagle touched down on the moon. Now, number 4. Number 4. Where'd it go? Oh, here we go. Number 4 shows the actual spacesuit. And here we have one of those flip things again, which when you flip it, it shows the astronaut inside of the spacesuit. And then we have another one here, which shows what the spacesuit would look like underneath the exterior. The arms are articulated for movement, and it's hard to lay this flat with one hand holding the camera. But then on the back of it is another flip that shows the backpack that they'd be carrying, and as you open it, it shows what's inside the backpack. And then we have another pull-out booklet here, Program Crews, and it shows pictures of the various teams that would go up in the Apollo program. Okay, so that's number 4, and let's go to number 5. And this number 5 is the last one, but it's probably the most spectacular one. Let's see if I can get this without... Here we go. And as you open this up, it's the complete lunar lander. Now I could make it, you know, lay out better, but I don't want to force it and damage it because the book is in excellent condition. But this is the last one, as I said. This complex and detailed 3D image shows a lunar lander on the surface of the moon with 2 astronauts. 2 astronauts? Yes, over here. 2 astronauts standing beside it. It was from here that Armstrong announced, across the void, Tranquility Base, the Eagle has landed. And the United States and the world breathed a sigh of relief, because it was also outside this craft that the Eagle, that Armstrong uttered the other famous words as he set foot on the moon: one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. Now there's also a flap here to lift up, and it shows a small pop-up of the lunar rover, which was used on future expeditions to the moon, so they could get further away from the actual craft and do whatever experiments they needed to do. I'm going to go back to that first one because to me, again, that first one is so spectacular. So this pop-up book is one that can be enjoyed by both young and old. I've only mentioned the major components of this book in this review, but it's filled with awesome historic facts and photos and illustrations. The book is out of print now, and I found my copy in very good condition at a local thrift store for less than $1. And if you get the chance to pick up this book, it's well worth your time, and shows that pop-up books are not just for kids. And if you were lucky enough, like myself, to be alive in 1969, I'm sure that it'll bring some very dramatic memories back for you also. Thanks for taking a look. God bless.